And I said, since many years ago, actually, since Conversa started, almost since the beginnings, teachers had to make their class preparation, their lesson plans. But making a lesson plan was a hard work, and I considered it was useful for them to help them. That's why we decided in those years, I'm talking about 20 years ago probably, we decided to start making lesson plans for teachers. And the lesson plans were more complete, especially when we changed our books, when we passed from Supergo to the Conversa book. With our material, with our books, and with our method, we wanted to do the things easier for teachers. That's why they have to use the methodology as well as the method with more uniformity. And when I mean more uniformity is that all of the teachers work with the same information. That's why we decided to make the lesson plans and you know all the content that we include in a lesson plan, which is the step, the activity, the material, and the rest of the things that teachers usually choose. However, with the time I noticed that since teachers were not preparing their own lesson plans, they lose some practice. And the practice they lost was related with class preparation and at the same time with the goals they have to reach in everyday class. Especially with these last months in the pandemic time, I have noticed because of the time, I'm not saying it is the teacher's fault. I'm not saying that it was a mistake from the teachers. Probably the mistake was even from me that I was not guiding teachers in general to start working again with objectives they need to have in their classes, goals they need to have in their classes. And then what I noticed is that some classes were covered, but the real goal, the effective goal, was not completed. And how do I know this? Because of the results that I can see in the uh, activities that you are sharing by mail or sometimes that you are posting in your Facebook. I mean, the result, the product that you need to show with your results. As teachers, we need to know that the goal is not just to cover the topic, the goal is to make sure that our students were able to learn. That's why in the last weeks, even Professor Victor decided to make a training. The training, I hope that you have already taken that training because some of you even told me that had problems connecting in the uh, Google Classroom or in NetPuzzle. I hope that you have solved that problem. But if you remember in that course, there was a topic Professor Victor was really interested, and the topic was about planning. More specific, pedagogical plannings. And let's begin with that part. What is a pedagogical planning, teachers? Who can help me with that? A pedagogical planning. What I already show you and what you know, what we have worked for many years, it's with the lesson plans. But what is a pedagogical plan? According to the training that Professor Victor gave us. Who can help us with this? Or you can be honest and you can tell me, Teacher Mark, you know, I have no idea. I thought that a pedagogical planning was a lesson plan. No problem with that. That's one of the purposes of this meeting to clarify some possible questions. Yes, Teacher Anna.
A pedagogical planning, according to what teacher Victor said in the course, is that we have to include what are our goals per class. We have to say the students will learn this and this and this with this and this and this because of this and this and this. So we need to be clear what are we teaching, how are we teaching it, and what we want to achieve by teaching that.
Okay. You are completely right, Anna. Actually, there is a name. There is a specific name that was mentioned in those videos, and that sometimes we are not completely familiarized. English teachers. I have heard this term in high school classes, and the teacher Paola might know more about this, about some special skills. And actually, I am giving you the answer of my question. Some special skills that teachers need to learn at the end of the class, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, depending how they are working. I'm referring to the high school classes. But there is a special name for what the teacher Anna already mentioned. And the name is related with the skills that I mentioned. What is the name of that? Who can help me with that? Who has on mind? because based on that is that we will understand the purpose of this meeting and the purpose of the activity or the activities that we will be doing in the following days, the following weeks. Actually, it is a cognate, very similar to Spanish. Teachers? No, no idea? Okay,
No, teacher.
no, okay. Well, it is a, okay, teacher Eric, tell us.
I don't know. I am not sure, but are they competences or something similar to that?
Exactly, exactly. Uh-huh. How many times, Paola, have you heard this word or have you told this word to your teachers in the high school?
So many times.
Mm-hmm,
I suppose the teacher Eric know that,
mm-hmm.
so that he knows the word. No, it's
Okay, yeah.
it's the
Since he is a high school teacher, of course he knew
yes.
the answer. But this is an answer, or this is a term that everybody should know. What is a competence? A competence is a skill. Is what students will be able to do with the language. And when I mean a skill, I'm not referring to the four general skills the English language has, which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I'm not referring about it. Yeah, because they are completely general. When I mean a skill as a competence is what my students will be able to do when the class finishes. What my student will be able to do when the week finishes, when the unit finishes. Imagine what my student will be able to do when the book finishes at the end of the 5 weeks of the book. Mhm. And I think teachers, English teachers in general, and I hope that you understand this message so that you can pass the message to the rest of the teachers. Thank you, leaders. Thank you, informers. Because of this, you pass the message that a competence is what we are going to make the reference of what we are doing in classes. What we are doing in classes is not just to spend the time to play games with our students or to make sure that my students understood how to structure a sentence. At the end is what my students will be able to do with the language. For example, general competencies like holding an interview, a job interview, or another competence to be able to attend a telephone call, or another competence for basic students, very basic students, to meet new people, to greet and to meet new people. That's a competence. Mhm. Now, teachers, is it clear for you what a competence is? Teacher Viridiana, if you can explain us what a competence is, how would you explain it?
Okay. Hi, teacher. Okay, I understand that is work more with the students of for school high school.
No, that's not exactly what I said, Viridiana. Well, if you refer that working with competences is to make sure that students learn something special as the high school teachers do at the end of every week or even every everyday class, of course you are right. But referring only to English classes, what is a competence? Teacher Michelle, can you help us according with what I explained?
Yeah, a competence is what is the main goal of teaching? What are the students going to be able to learn and to know at the end of the
Okay,
lesson or at the end of the week or at the end of the
okay.
class?
You are right. Yes, what students are going to be able to do with the language we taught them. If our grammar goal was to teach them the verb to be, what students will be able to do with the verb to be at the end of the class? Mhm. Yes, teachers, please consider this. It's what my students will be able to do at the end of the class. Why? Why? In general, the main competence that English students or language students that are learning any other different language is to communicate. Mhm. And there are, of course, specific skills that they will be able to do in reading, in writing, even in listening. Yeah, because it could be also a skill in listening, like for example, understanding, for example, a business conversation. Mhm. It could be a very specific skill. And of course, let's imagine a more specific skill in a business conversation. Mhm. If it is a business conversation, For example, to buy or to sell a product. Keep on mind, competences are important. And now, based on this, so that I don't lose the idea of what I'm telling you, because I was telling you, for example, the difference between a competence and the difference between, the difference between a pedagogical planning and the difference between a lesson plan is that if you notice in lesson plans, normally we don't mention anything about competences. We don't mention anything about competences. And that is something that now we need to start considering so that we change the way we are teaching. Okay. However, as I was telling you at the beginning, making the class preparation, making the lesson plan will always be one of the purposes of preparing a class and giving a class is to have on mind what I'm going to teach. That's why in today's class, today's training, I would like to share one example of pedagogical planning, because from now on, teachers will start making their own pedagogical plans. Let me share here the screen again, and you will see. There is a format that I prepared and will be sharing every specific part of the format. Even I complete it as an example. The format seems to be a little similar. Can you see my screen? Can you confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We're going to see the difference between that lesson plan and the pedagogical planning. In the lesson plan, as you already know, you have, of course, also your objectives, and you have your steps, your general objective for the class, and then your steps, and in every step, the specific instruction with the activity that you will be doing. For example, in the lesson plan, you can read the icebreaker to play tic-tac-toe. This is the step. However, playing tic-tac-toe is not a competence, because at the end, you cannot say, my students are going to be able, for example, to win a game in tic-tac-toe. Is that a competence? Obviously, that is not. What we are looking for a competence is what the students will be able to do with that specific activity in the tic-tac-toe game, for example. If they are practicing with verbs, well, my students are going to be able to conjugate verbs, for example. That's different. Well, in this pedagogical planning, as you can see, there is information to identify the class, the school, the branch, I mean, the teacher's name, the book, the unit, and the objectives. I want to clarify that one pedagogical planning like this, in the format that you can see in this moment, is considered for a unit. And in the unit, classes that are given from Monday to Friday includes 5 sessions that I call them here stages. So if you can see the column of a stage or stages, it means the number of the sessions. How many classes are given in weekly classes?
5.
Exactly. There are 5. That it means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That is something else that we must retake, must consider that Friday is not a free day, it's not just exams. Friday is another day to cover our activities. So if you can see the format, it's for a complete unit from Monday to Friday with 5 stages, 1 per day. Talking about Saturday classes, of course, it means only 1 stage, 1 general stage, but of course it is divided according to the time that you are spending with your students in class. So what is the objective here? It is, as you read for unit number 1, book number 1, students will be familiar with the method and systems of the institute, because it is the first day of classes, of course, and we learn rules of the course, especially what you are going to do with this, how you are going to evaluate your students with these new tools that we have, the e-academy, I mean. And they will have the first contact with the most basic expressions to introduce themselves and to be able to identify expressions to meet someone. If you can see, now the objective is more in detail, different from the lesson plan that has only one general objective, very general objective, even with 2 or 3 words on the top, for example, learning the verb to be is one objective. Different from that, now this objective is more referred to a competence. Until here, is there any question? No? Okay. I'm going to make some questions when I finish my participation so that we can review this information. Then, what do we find in this column? In the lesson plan, we used to have here the activity, the instruction, what students have to do and how students have to do it, what and how they have to do it. Now, in this case, it is going to be related only to the content, only to the information that you are going to be working in that specific day in a more specific way. Here. In Monday class, remember unit number 1, the teacher will start with introductions by saying my name is, and the question, what's your name? The students will learn the different greetings used during the day, like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and the expressions to say goodbye. You know all the expressions. So what is it? If you want to consider this content as a resume of everything that includes in only one day class, that can be also considered is the content what you are going to be considering, but as I repeat again, focus on the competence. Until here, for example, if I ask the teacher Rosario, what is the competence in my first day class in this book, Monday? What is the competence according with what you can see here?
They introduce.
Remember, a competence is what students will be able to do. So keep on mind this. The students will be able to. Joan, you want to help? Yes, please.
Okay. The students will be able to introduce themselves in the class.
Very good.
And they will use, or they will know how to use the expressions like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Excellent. Very good. Yes, Rosario. So, and for everybody, all of the teachers. So, what I want you to consider now in your pedagogical planning is the specific skills or competences our students will have or will be able to do by the end of the class, by the end of the unit, and with this we will complete by the end of the book after the 5th week. But that's something that we'll talk in a moment. Yes? Questions here?
No, teacher.
No? Okay. Now, if we move to resources and material, this is actually something that you can find in the e-Academy. The links are already charged in the e-Academy or in the book. The information is already marked in the lesson plans, because to make your pedagogical plannings, you can base your information on the lesson plans. Actually, you don't have to invent or make something new information. You don't have to do that. What you have to do, what I recommend you to do, and this is what I did with this first model of pedagogical planning, is to see your lesson plan and to select the competence that the students will be able to do by the end of the class. This is everything that you have to do. Then the resources and material is what you already have in the e-Academy. Well, actually, if you would like to include something extra, you can do it, but do not omit to use it with your students by posting that link by activity, by video, that video, that PDF, by that document. Do not forget to post it in the e-Academy. So that when the students, because actually this information is for students, this information is something that the students will have to read when they start taking their classes. They can open and they can see. The teacher in Monday's class told me that he was going to check a video about, I am inventing, about pronunciation. And they can confirm that the teacher is using that, and at the end of the class, students feel satisfied that they really complete the activity, that they really did the exercise in the book. That's the purpose of this column, the resource and material that you will be using. Different from using, for example, in the lesson plan, wall charts, using flashcards. Different from that material. Now the material is more digital. Even if you find an exercise related to the verb to be in any website, for example, here in the second day, Tuesday class, the material is, or the resource is based on an English website that is called examenenglish.com, grammar, different from, for example, in the past that we just included pictures, wall charts in our classes. Now we have the big facility of including resources, digital resources. You only copy and paste. But the condition, of course, is to use it in your classes. If you don't want to make this research, you can find the websites in the e-academy, the ones that some months ago you helped us to charge. Assessment tools, important, very important. What is an assessment, teacher? Let's ask the teacher Marlene. What is an assessment?
It could be like a skills we're going to reach,
No,
or
no,
how are students going to work if they are going to work in
a
teaching.
little. It's a little related. Ernesto, what is an assessment?
Can you hear me, teacher? Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry. Assessment, it could be similar like grading, evaluating.
Exactly. To assess is to evaluate. An assessment is an evaluation. Yeah. The teachers who took the TKT course and are certified, you should know more about all the different kind of assessments. The same. When we think of an assessment, when we think of an evaluation, better. When we think of an evaluation, normally we consider that it's going to be the exam on Friday, but that is totally wrong, teachers. The evaluation shouldn't be every week, every Friday, or every end of the module. The evaluation should be every day. What is the purpose of an evaluation, teacher Robert? Why to make an evaluation?
It's to know if the student gets the knowledge or if she or he is able um, to handle.
Very good answer. Once you have your objective, once you have your competence and you are teaching during the class, at the end of the class, you need to confirm if students are able to use that competence, if they were ready to learn that competence. That's why the assessment need to be specific for that day, of the class. Actually, there should be assessment for every activity that you are applying to your students. And as I told you, it is not very different from the lesson plans that you were making. The terms could be now different now, for example, now with assessment, but this is something that you used to do or you used to practice with the methodology in the step of drills. When you apply a drill, it means that you want to make your students, you want to confirm that your students practice, and you want to make sure that your students understood the topic. Later on, with the application activity, you want to confirm that they can integrate all the knowledge in only one activity, normally the role plays. That's why here in the assessments, in this example, you can read that it is students oral practice, individually and in pairs, and repetition and reproduction. Repetition and reproduction of what you were doing with them. Why repetition and reproduction? Very mechanical, because remember, it is the first day class. You cannot make your students have communicative assessments in which you are making questions to them because they are only learning the first lesson. And finally, the educational competence that has more relationship with those competences that we were mentioning before. As I told you, a competence is also related to skills, like listening and speaking, the ones I mark here. But when we consider competence skill as listening and speaking is very global, it's very general. But if we consider that our competence for our students in that first day class is to meet new people, you can conclude what your students will be able to do by the end of the class. So teacher, what did we learn today in today's class? Today you are able to meet new people. And to meet new people, you know that includes to introduce yourself, to say hello, to ask for the others' names, to ask how are you, and to say goodbye with a farewell. Is it clear? all of these sections in this pedagogical planning? Can we advance?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Then I will send you in a moment in the group this example of pedagogical planning so that you can have it more complete there. Well, what do we have here on the top? Let me make it a little bigger for you. What do we have here on the top? 3 sections. The expected learning, the expected product, and the date of delivery.
Can
Yes?
you repeat that, please?
Yeah, we have the 3 sections here: expected learning, expected products, and the date of delivery.
Thank you.
What is unexpected learning? Here we will read unexpected learning. At the end of the unit, the students will be able to express themselves to say the corresponding greeting according to the day of the day, according to the part of the day, and to start a conversation meeting someone else by asking his or her name and then expressing they are pleased to meet someone. They will be able to include the question to know someone's mood, the question, how are you? And finally, they will use expressions to finish a conversation. So as you can see here, the information is not different. Everything is related. Everything is based on that competence, those competencies that we were mentioning at the beginning. And then in expected products to make our students show a result. This result, based on the methodology, will always include what you do in your application activity. In your application activity is what you want your students to do with the information they learn. If you want them to make a role play, if you want them to have an exposition, if you want them to have a composition, if you want them to have a phone conversation, everything similar to that is an unexpected product. So here we have an example. The expected product: recording a video in a role play, meeting and greeting someone, integration of the unit's information in a conversation where students can introduce themselves. Only teachers consider the expected product is not by day, it's by week. It has another name in our methodology. In which part of our class do we use expected products? Let's ask the teacher, Joanna. In which part of your class do you use expected products?
Can you hear me, teacher?
Yeah.
Okay. Could be in the, I don't know, in the icebreaker
No,
at the
no, no,
beginning
no.
of the class?
No, no, no. No, on the contrary. It is not at the beginning. Remember that it is the product. The product is the final result. Teacher Michelle, you raise your hand.
The consolidation?
No, it is not in consolidation.
It will be an application?
It will be in application, of course. In application, And Robert, do you wanted to say something?
The same production.
Okay, the production, the result, the product is in an application. Remember, by the way, Joanna, consolidation is different from application. Consolidation, it's only in class B. It's the confirmation of your class in, for example, in an explanation. You give an explanation of the topic, grammar on the blackboard. This is consolidation. Application is, as the name says, to apply, to put in practice. Teacher Michelle and Teacher Robert and the ones who thought of application, you are right. But there is something more specific about this expected product. And I repeat my question. You apply one expected product by unit, by week, only one. In which part of your class do you apply it? Yes, Teacher Eric.
Is it in the oral exam, maybe,
Very
or
good.
final project? Okay.
No, in the final, sorry, in the unit exam, in the oral exam on Friday. You are right. Why on Friday I'm not different from the other answer he gave us? in the final exam, in the final project. Because remember that this pedagogical planning is by unit. It is not by book. It is by unit. And at the end of each unit, you apply one exam, oral exam. If it were, this pedagogical planning were for a book, and I'll say this is unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, and unit 5, of course your expected product mark here should be your final project. By the way, you also can make your pedagogical planning for your book, but in this moment, what we are interested is in making your planning more specific, more specific. Okay, so questions here about what a product, what an expected product is? No questions? Okay, thank you. And this other column, this other section, the date of delivery. Since this is an example that I made this week, I consider today's date as the date of delivery. The students will prepare the final role play integrating the new information and will be presented to the group at the end of the unit. It means for today, March 19th. But in your cases, you will include the dates that you consider according to your units, according to your advances, and according to the calendar that you mark for your students. Okay, let's make some questions. Let's see if you don't have questions. If you didn't have any question, you will be able to answer the next. And then I'm going to give you some instructions about these pedagogical plannings. Okay, questions. Jose Munoz. Jose, teacher Jose. The question is, first one, what is a pedagogical planning?
Pedagogical planning is a structure or a planning or projection on the class based upon competencies.
Great. This is the best answer that we can hear right now. Yes, it is based on competences, and it will be different from the lesson plans on that. That in lesson plans normally we do not include competences, but now what we need to keep on mind, teachers, we need to have in our minds is what our students will be able to do. And actually, that was going to be my question. My next question: what is a competence? Is what students will be able to do with the language.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Jose. Claps to the teacher, Jose. You can give an, well, I know that you are very familiar with the physical claps, but also here we have the digital claps. Very good. One more question. One more question. What for the teacher? Let me think of the teacher. The teacher, Luis Catalan. The question is, what is a stage in a lesson plan? What is a stage? In a lesson plan, sorry, in a pedagogical planning, you will include 5 stages. What is a stage?
It could be assignments.
No. Teacher Marlene?
And a stage is the day we're going to work with. Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, let's also call it a session.
Okay, session.
How many, Luis, how many sessions do you give in a unit for quickly classes? From Monday to Friday, how many sessions do you cover?
5.
Exactly. Then how many stages will you include in a pedagogical planning?
5.
Exactly. One more question. Thank you, Luis. Thank you. One more question now for the teacher. Well, I saw the teacher Luis from Chabacano, but I don't see him. Luis Zarate, are you here? I don't see him.
He left the
At the beginning, he was. Okay. The teacher Laura from Moctezuma.
Yes, teacher.
What are the, apart from the content, the competences, what you have to include in the pedagogical planning, what else must you consider? What else must you include?
I didn't understand. It's because it's a little bit noisy. You repeat?
Okay, I will repeat the question. Apart from the competence, the content, what else must you include in a pedagogical plan?
Okay. Well, maybe exercises for them to improve their skills.
Remember, it is what I mark here in the example that I showed. Anna, apart from the competence, what else must you include? There are like 4 extra things you must include in the pedagogical plan. Ana Diaz?
Well, how we are going to assess students?
Exactly. One of them is how we're going to assess, how we are going to evaluate students. Very good.
And these assessments are recommended to be every day, not just on Friday. So that is one of the things that you said.
By the way, sorry for the interruption. By the way, consider that, for example, a dictation is an assessment. A quiz is an assessment. The teacher, Laura was mentioning about exercises. Well, you can consider exercises as an assessment when they are included in, for example, in a website like a quiz. So, but in general, the correct name should be the assessment, the way you are going to evaluate your students that day. So we have one. One more, Anna, do you have another? Or teacher Marlene, you raise the hand. You can help.
Yes, teacher. Resources and material.
Resources and material. We have 2 more. Okay, one more.
And educational competence.
The educational competence. Yes, teacher Eric, you raised the hand. You wanted to participate?
No, I was going to say educational competence.
Okay. And one very important thing, one more important thing. What is missing? Joan?
The objectives?
Okay, actually, the objectives are in the competence.
Okay.
The ones that are coming on the top, yeah. One more important thing.
The contents?
These are the
Yeah, these are the
activities.
same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't have it.
Yes, Irina. We don't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Yes, the expected product.
The expected product. Another important thing is what the students will do at the end of the, in this case, the expected product, remember, is at the end of the unit. Okay, well, to move faster, don't forget also you need dates. Dates. It means the deadline when the students will present or deliver. Even, by the way, you can make your students present or prepare their products since Monday. The best way to work with your students is to make them work since Monday with the expected product. Don't wait until the end of the week. If you tell them to prepare the expected product on Friday, I'm sure they will be able to do it, but it will not be what you are expecting. Actually, consider the word expected product. Expect is what you desire, what you would like. I would like to make my students have difficult conversations, or I would like my students, for example, to prepare a commercial. I would like to make my students prepare a phone conversation in an airport. If you want to do this, if you want to prepare this the same day of the exam, it will be more difficult for your students. It will be more difficult. Okay, now based on this, based on the information that I was telling you, making a pedagogical planning could be hard, could be difficult. That's why there will be distribution between teachers of this work. Okay, I want you to consider this, what I'm going to show you. Here we have the list of schools. I consider that it could be fair, it could be correct that all of us work with these activities. Then I made a distribution. Here you can see Conversa books from 1 to 12 and then Super Gold that are covered with expert level. We are going to focus on this first. We are not going to consider right now TESOL or TOEFL. We are going to focus on this because we have more students on this and it could be the priority. We need to consider this distribution. So if you want to have a screenshot or if you want to just to copy your book, your name, that's okay. There is only two situations with book number 4. It's Constitution 1. Actually, it is only Constitution teachers, right, Ida? So we cannot consider two branches. It's only one branch. It is Constitution. And the other situation is with book number 8, in which the school San Juan, in this today represented by the teacher Ana Karen, and the school Chabacano, represented by the teacher Luis Zarate. By the way, I saw teacher Zarate already entered to this session. So you will be working together. For the rest of the schools, the distribution will be with your teachers. So Nessa, you have 2 teachers, and the teacher Ana 3 teachers, etc. Right? So copy this. How is it going to be done? Well, here the question actually to see if you understood, because it shouldn't be hard work. It shouldn't be hard work. The question is for Roberto. Roberto, in your case, Chicoloapan, you're going to be working with book number 3. Book number 3. How many pedagogical plannings will you make? As in the format that I showed, how many pedagogical plannings will you make?
5.
Why 5?
Because 4 are part of the unit and the last one is for expansion.
Excellent, very good. That's the correct answer. So don't get stressed, teachers. Don't think, I'm going to make a lot of work because it's going to be a lesson plan. No, it is not a lesson plan. The lesson plans are already done. By the way, the lesson plans, we will continue using them. The lesson plans are going to be for you because it's your recipe for your class. But the pedagogical planning is going to be for you to keep on mind the competence and for your student or your students, even for parents. If your students' parents ask about the things that your students have been learning, it's going to be easy that you show these are the competences that your students are having week by week, day by day, week by week, and book by book. That's going to be. So this is going to be our distribution of the work. So I'm going to send you the model so that you can have it on mine. I'm going to send you the format. There is a special format that you will use in PDF in which you can include information so that you don't have to move any section of the planning. And there will be a date of delivery. The date of delivery, as Roberto mentioned, it's 5 pedagogical plannings. When I made this example, I spent, believe me that I spent 30 minutes, no more than 30 minutes. Yeah, because the only thing that I did was number 1, to open the lesson plan. Number 2, to open the book. And number 3, to open the e-academy, because I took the information, the links from the e-academy according to my book. So I spent 30 minutes making this. So if you spend 30 minutes, you and your teachers, and you make the distribution of your teachers, I think you can complete these activities in 1 week. In 1 week. But tell me if you need more time.
No, teacher, it's okay.
1 week is okay, teacher.
Okay, thank you, Jose. Thank you, Joanna. What about the others?
It's
okay. It's fine, teacher.
It's okay.
Yeah, teacher.
Thank you,
Okay,
teachers.
Okay.
Thank you. 1 week. And once you deliver this information, of course, will be responsible. The teacher itself, Carlos and me, will be responsible to check it. That's also a work that we'll be doing. So there is something else, and I consider this will be very beneficial for the teachers and for the students, because now we will have a precise objective to cover with the competence. But if you saw the video, Professor Victor's video in the training, he mentioned about making videos of teachers. Did you watch that part? Did you read or did you see that information in his training that teachers have to make a video? Who can tell me about it? Yes, Jose. What did you see about that? Or what do you understand?
Teacher Victor mentioned that we had to create some sort of a greeting for our students, well dressed, well uniformed, enhancing the skills and abilities that they want to achieve from us, giving them also our a little bit for background, telling them who we are, where we come from, and stuff like that, for them to feel encouraged to reach their objectives and to give them a general panorama of what is going to happen during the course. So this is basically the whole thing.
Yes, you are right, very right. It's a video, thank you, Jose. It's a video in which you have to consider 3 or 4 aspects, important aspects. One of them is to give a welcome to the students. By the way, these videos are going to be by book. When you start a book, you prepare this video. It's only 1 video per book, 1 video per book. So if you are about to start, for example, book number 3, you receive your group, you prepare your video, and the information of the video will be considered for the whole book. Okay, and in a moment I will show you one model of a book, of a video. So it's the welcome, it's the competence, is the syllabus. The syllabus he was mentioning many times is what students will be learning with the pedagogical planning, of course. Everything is going to be based on that. The evaluation criteria, what you will consider for their evaluation. If you want, even that's an opportunity to set the rules or to remind your students about the rules so that they can remember how you will evaluate them. Okay, the teacher, Joanna, is going to help me with a video that I sent her. It's because I had some problems with my computer, but she's going to help me to reproduce a video, to play a video. Only please, Joanna, don't forget to activate the sound of the video from your computer so that the rest of the teachers can hear. It's a very short video and it's going to be a model. I want you to pay attention, and I also prepare a script. In the following script, you will have the base of preparing your own video so that you don't lose the idea of what you have to do. Okay, please.
Yes, can you see?
We can see, but we cannot hear.
Okay, let me put you. Now?
Welcome to Universidad de Conversa. Yes, we can.
Okay.
Hello, students. Welcome to Universitario Conversa. My name is Marc Carballido, and I'll be your English teacher in this first module, Book 1. Congratulations. You are about to start with the basic level. I'd like to tell you more about me. I have been an English teacher for 2 years, and I have some certifications in English, such as the TOEFL ITP. Besides, I have my teacher's course and the TKT certificate of Cambridge. I studied communications, but my passion is to teach English. There are some competencies that you will learn. In this book, you will learn how to ask and give some personal information of yourself and the members of your family, such as names, ages, birth dates, likes, and preferences. Every week, you will advance with a unit, and in this first unit, here you have the syllabus that we will complete. As you can see here, the unit will be covered in 5 days. Every day has specific contents and objectives to be covered. We will use some special material and resources, such as websites that are charged already in the e-Academy and the book exercises. Also, here you will find the assessment tools what we will consider for your evaluation of the date, and the competence that needs to be covered in that specific session. At the end of the unit, there will be a special project, and there is a special date of delivery for that project. There are some policies of daily evaluation that include your attendance, your punctuality, your participation, use of English, your book, your behavior, and some exercises posted in the e-Academy. It's very important that you complete all the activities. You will also have the weekly evaluation with 2 exams on Fridays. One of the computer that you will find in your e-Academy session and one oral exam. You will need 80% in order to pass to the next unit. By the end of the book, you will have to prepare a final project, an exposition about you and the members of your family. The deadline to deliver your project is on April 16 in order to pass to book number 2. Finally, consider that you will need to cover 90% of attendance registered in the e-Academy. That means that you cannot have more than 3 absences during the module. Once again, welcome to Conversa, and it's my desire to help you to complete your goal of learning English. Let's begin with the class. Okay, thank you, teacher Joanna. Please stop the video. Okay, as you could see, the time of this video was only 3 minutes, an average of 3 minutes. It's one video per book. In that video, you are including the next information. I have it here, and I will share to you so that you can copy the same template. I was here inventing some information. Well, number 1 is your welcome, your name, the book that you will be covering with them, any expression that you want to share with your student, like congratulations, excellent job, you are about to pass to intermediate level, or any motivational expression that you can keep to your students. Then you can share some information about yourself, especially about your preparation. It's good that your students know about your preparation. Teachers, you have experience. Most of you have certifications. Most of you have presented ITP exams. You have even you have passed supervisions with very good results. Include that information in your video when you are talking about yourself. Then, in this expression, the competence. In this book, you will learn and the competence based on your planning, pedagogical planning. Then there is a text here that I consider could be the same for all of your videos, all of the videos that you prepare. No? Like every week you will learn different skills, and in this unit here you have the syllabus, then you can show. By the way, I made a video only with Zoom. I recorded it in Zoom so that you don't have to make a very difficult video with subtitles or something like that. Even Professor Victor says in his training that you can do it with your cell phone. No problem with that. And then here you are reminding your evaluation criteria or everything that you consider for everyday evaluation. This information comes in the graphs, you must remember. Attendance, punctuality, participation, use of English, the book, the behavior. But I included something that we are losing, that we are not completing very well, the exercises in the e-Academy. Then this is a reminder about exams. And important, your students need to pass with 80%. Teachers don't pass students when they are not, don't pass students to the next book when they are not passing their exams. If they fail one unit, they can pass to the next unit, no problem. But you cannot pass one student to the next book if all of the units were failed. That's really bad. We are just having our students advance because they are paying. No, we are having our students advance because they are really learning. And this is also important. The teacher itself has been asking you about the report of your students' attendance in the e-Academy. And we could see that sometimes the students are not entering. You need to be really strict with them. I know it is not your fault. It is not you, the ones who are provoking students are not entering. Some students are not really disciplined. But the problem that I can see is that sometimes teachers are afraid of their students. They are afraid of losing the students, or that the students complain, or they don't want to continue in class and they drop out. Don't be afraid of them. They need to be disciplined with this. Right now, all the schools are giving classes in virtual classes in a platform. What is sad is to see the group is with 7 students and only 2 students are attending classes through the e-academy. Force your students to connect through the e-academy. And if they are not, there is no attendance in the e-academy, consider this policy. 3 absences, they cannot continue. 3 absences and they cannot continue. During the module, not during the week, during the module. Be strict with your students. And of course, you can be tolerant with those students that are justifying they have to go to the doctor, or because of the pandemic they are sick, or any situation. But ask for the proof. Normally, the medical proof, they are not taking your class. And finally, well, you say goodbye to your students in this video. So I'm going to share in a moment this text. You can consider it as a template. I'm going to share also the video. We're going to share the video so that you can consider the video to make yours. And I'm going to share the template as well as the model, the demo of the pedagogical planning, so that you prepare your own information. So that you can start preparing your own information. Teachers, I really want you to tell me if you have any question, or if you consider it was difficult, all of this information for you. If you need more time, it is not to give you more work. We have a lot of work, and actually you have worked really hard. But it is to keep on mind that our students need to learn skills, and that our students need to have a competence, and that our students need to improve their language. No questions? No comments? Okay, then finally, the teacher Joanna is going to help me with a video. She's going to play a video of one student. Actually, it is a video that I shared one day in the group because I think it was the teacher, let me remember if it was the teacher Eric who shared this video. Can you share it, please, Joanna? And the student is giving a final project. The student is giving an expo. It lasts only 3 minutes, and I have some comments. I will give you in a moment the comments about that video.
Okay.
Please, Joanna, play it.
Hi, my name is Astrid. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Mexico. I'm Mexican. I'm a student from Mexico. I am short, young, intelligent, thin, and strong. My birthday is on February 16. My favorite colors are blue and black. My favorite animals are alligator and frog. I like dance and sing. My father is from Mexico. My mother is from Mexico, and that's it. Hi,
Okay.
my name is Astrid.
Teachers, please help me with something. Whose student is this? From which school? Is she from Tlahuac Centro? I am confused.
It's from Olympica.
From Olympica. Okay,
No,
thank you,
she's
Rosario.
not.
Thank you. Okay, teachers, really fast, to go fast. What do you think of this exam? Because it was an exam. The student is talking about what she knows. She is including language. Don't be afraid to say to the teacher Rosario about that student. That's what I mean. Don't be afraid about that. What do you think?
Maybe the student can introduce a little introduction for herself. I mean, like a name and also the book that she's studying.
Okay, thank you for the comment. Another comment about the competences, about the skills, about English. Is her English good? Is her English bad?
I think it's a good example. We are going to learn well, the students are going to learn with the knowledge that they have. So I think it's good.
Okay, you think
I
it is
think it's
good?
book number 1, no?
Okay, thank you, Joanna. You said that she is in book number 1?
Yes. Is she in book
Okay.
number 1?
Any other comment? In a moment, I will tell you the book. Any other comment?
Me, teacher.
Yes.
I think for being book 1, her English is not that bad, but maybe, well, she sounds like she only was saying like sentences. So maybe it could be like, I don't know, a little bit more creative, the project, because the pronunciation wasn't bad actually, but it was like only saying sentences.
Okay, that's right. Okay, teachers, consider this. Before the teacher Rosario tell us the number of the book the student is in, I have to tell you that from the videos that I have been receiving, just a few videos are good. And one of those good videos is this one from this student, Astrid, from Olympic. Consider and take into account what I'm telling you. From the videos that you are sending and even that you are posting in Facebook, one of the best videos that I have seen is from this student. Her level is acceptable to express in English. But later I moved to the teacher Rosario and I asked her the number of the book. And I was surprised when she told me the number of the book. What is the number of the book, Rosario, she's in?
And now she's in book 3, I think.
She is in book number. She is in book number 3, and her performance is as if she were in book number 1. Even you mentioned this.
Yes.
So in conclusion, there are students who are in book 5, in book 7, in book 10, and their expositions are terrible, are worse than this one. That's why teachers, what I told you 1 hour before during the last hour, is extremely important. We need to correct the student's level. And one of the ways, it's not the only one, and I probably it is not going to be the most effective, but it's going to be one way to start correcting this mistake is by forcing ourselves to see the products in our students, to see the competencies in our students. To force ourselves. You know what? In this first level, you will be able to do this. A specific day, a specific unit, and a specific book. That's something that I consider we can solve, but we have work and we have to keep on mind. Please. Finally, my last comment. I wanted to share another video. Actually, I'll try to do it. Let me see if I can do it. And in this other video, it's very short. You will see probably some difference. Wait a moment, please. You tell me if you can see the video.
No, teacher.
Wait a moment, it is charging.
My routine is I wake up.
Can you?
No, teacher.
No.
What about now?
My routine is I wake up at 9
No, teacher.
o'clock a.m. on Mondays. I take a
No?
shower
Can't?
Yes, teacher.
at 9:30
Okay.
a.m. I have a breakfast at 10 o'clock. I brush my teeth at 10:30. Then I read my favorite book at 11 o'clock. Then I play video games. Then I study from 2 to 10. Then I play video games with friends at 10:30 p.m. And finally, I go to the bed.
Now, tell me your comments about this second student.
Me, teacher Robert. In Robert.
Yes, Robert.
Sorry. Well, I think that she speaks very positively, and so she doesn't sound very natural, maybe. Because she sounds like a robot, because she speaks very, very slow. And I suppose because of the topic or what she is saying, I suppose that she is in a book 3 or 4 maybe. And in that case, her speaking must be a little bit, just a little bit faster maybe, or with a little bit of intonation.
Okay, that's your comment. Thank you, Robert. Another comment? No one else wants to comment? The supervisors? Yes, Laura.
Okay. I think she has vocabulary, right? She uses a really nice vocabulary. The problem is, as my partner said, Robert, she speaks like really slow. Maybe if her fluency was better, it could be great.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Thank you, Robert, for the comments. Well, now guess what? This student has taken only 2 Saturday classes. Only 2 Saturday classes. And you know Saturday classes, how difficult are, because they don't practice during the week, and because classes are only 3 hours, and because they are only 2 in the basic level. If you see the difference is in one of in the first student, Astrid was very fluent, but she was very limited. And she was more advanced because she was in book number 3. By the way, Rosario, is she taking Saturday classes or is she taking classes during the week?
No, I think it's during the week.
Imagine, she has more practice. And the second student, well, from where is the second student? The second student, sadly, is not from Conversa. He's from another school. He's not from Conversa. She is not from Conversa. I have some people, I know some teachers who are working in other places, and we share material to see, to compare. And when she sent me this video, I said, oh, that's a very good student. Actually, that's a very good student. That's a very good expo. For the second Saturday, she has been taking. Of course, as Roberto and teacher Laura mentioned, she speaks slowly, she's thinking, but she was not reading, by the way, and she was using verbs, if you noticed. She was talking about her routines. Well, conclusion, and we don't spend more time on this. Help us teachers to retake our level. Don't pass students from book to book if they don't have the competence. If it is necessary to make students repeat a book, report it to me so that we force those students to repeat. If they quit, if they stop taking classes, well, it's better to graduate one student who really learns English than 100 students that don't speak English and have 300 points in the TOEFL. Please help me with this. Help me with this. Then we're going to stop here with this part. The teacher itself is going to mention some extra information, and then in the last 30 minutes of this session before 3 p.m., we're going to move to the different rooms. We have 3 rooms. The teacher Carlos already prepared them, and we're going to check your information. By the way, the information that you have to report is not about your evidence. Like showing videos like the one that I sent, that I showed right now. Your report needs to be based on numbers, your RI, the number of exams that the school has applied, the numbers that the teacher itself asked. Please consider this to move faster. All of you will have, each of you will have only 5 minutes to report your information to move faster. Okay, thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your attention also. And now the teacher itself is going to be with you.
Hello, teachers. Good afternoon. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the next teachers for passing supervision with more than 90 as a score. Okay, some of them are right here in this meeting. So please, congratulations to teacher Ana Díaz, Luis Catalán, Rosario Miguel, Luis Zárate, José Muñoz, Roberto Mirano, Irina Ortiz, Francisco Ugalde, Adriana Michelle Ordóñez, Marlene Hernández, y Ernesto Zamora. Congratulations, teachers. Well, we invite you to keep working on the same way you are doing. Well, the rest of the teachers are not, are on the 80s as a supervision result. That is not too bad, but this means that they have to work on a special area to make the class better, okay? I was talking to some of you about your teachers, so I hope that the results you are showing in a moment express the goals you have with them according to these areas of opportunity, okay? Well, some days ago, as I sent you the new formats of supervision, so I hope that you check them carefully, but consider students' attendance in the e-academy. Of course, to have the camera activated, to wear the uniform, to give complete classes, okay? And as an extra point, and very, very important, because we have identified that you have more than 15 weeks with a group, and this is totally, totally forbidden. Okay, why? Because what I have noticed in the service comment is that some students reject changing the teacher. I read some days ago one comment from a student who mentioned that, well, if my teacher is not continue giving me classes, I willing to quit. So imagine, yes? And continue assigning and evaluating exercises in the e-academy. We are working now also with the English Plus. So please help us. And this is what you can see now is the checklist format. This is for class. It's quite similar to the previous one. Okay. So I hope that you took time to check these 2 formats that are now official. So please, teacher, we continue with the bonuses for those teachers who are passing supervision, okay? And raised, in fact, teacher Mark asked me to consider some teachers to receive a raise in the payment for class. They would receive more classes. That means that as an extra income. Teacher Carlos, can you move down, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So as on the contrary, you will receive negative recam, the groups will be removed, and you will have meetings in the offices with teacher Mark and with us. Okay, teachers? Question?
Yes, teacher.
So, and we continue now with, thank you, teacher. Well, I have been checking the number of students who are registered in attendance in the academy. As you can notice here in this report is the first column, the schedule, SEA, number of students, the number of students in SEA, okay? The number of books too. For example, with teacher Rosario in the group at 8. Yes, you have 7 students in SEA and in the planning, but only 3 students have books. And what happened with the rest of the groups with any books sold? Well, I know we can understand that we have like economic problems, but something we have to start working on is avoid basing our classes with on exercises from a web page different from the e-academy. Yes, because I have talked to some of you and you have told me that yes, the students have economic problems and you decide not to use the book, which is a big mistake because if you are not using the book, well, what is going to be the consequence that the students think that, well, I don't need it. I don't need the book because my teacher is not working with that. And you are giving preference to the students who don't have the book more than the students have. Okay. And we can also find the number of students in the planning, which is not the same as in the SEA. Okay, so this is very important uh, to check the numbers in the groups and what you are reporting, and also coordinators. Yes, but it's with your help too. Finally, as I told you, the student attendance in the e-academy. And as you can see, there is a part for some groups with Sinalta. This means that you as a teacher have to give a click in dar de alta al grupo so that I can see the number of students who are taking attendance in the e-academy. This happens, for example, with teacher Viridiana, teacher Leslie, okay? Do you have questions, teachers?
Me, teacher. For
Who?
example, me, Joanna, from Charco. The books in the digital is not in the system, right? Because I was checking, I don't have any book, and all my students, maybe 1 or 2, are missing for the book, but there are digital. So in
Sure,
this case,
yes. Yes, they have to pay for the book and then they are going to receive the book in their mails.
yes, but I was checking, and it's not in the book, in the system.
No, it is not.
Okay, but well, just that. Thank you, teacher.
What well, it's because right now I don't have the possibility to show you, but in the system just appear the folio because the student pay for it.
Yes.
Okay. So please, to start increasing the number of books sold, so you have to avoid to, for example, sending pictures of the book in your WhatsApp groups, and don't base your classes on web pages exercises. Yes, to push your students to buy the book. Okay, teachers?
Yes.
So questions about
Yes,
supervisions, about this
No,
report?
teacher.
just one comment, miss.
Yes, teacher Jose.
About what you said, the cost of the digital books is 100 for the digital copy. For the books from 1 to 12, and Super Gold books are 70 pesos, something like that. And it's in the system. We have already checked.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's it. Thank you. If you have any other question, well, send me a message, please.
I have a question. What happened with the institute or the coordinator don't have the books? I have a group and the students want to buy the book, but the book is not available. What happened in these cases?
Well, now we have the digital books, not just the physical one, but the digital.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to show something from here, teacher, or it's okay?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay, teacher. Thank you. Thank you, teachers.
Thank you to the teacher itself for this information. Now, I already sent the files that I mentioned about the template that you will be using in PDF. By the way, please open it in Chrome to make it editable so that you can type. One of them is Clink and the other one is the one that I mentioned, the one that I showed here. And also the video, my video. As I told you, you include your information in your introduction in which especially you talk about your profile as a teacher. You can say I have 15 years giving classes or I have these certifications, especially to make it more reliable and more professional. And the template with the text. It's just an idea. If you would like to add extra things in your video, in your template of your text, that's up to you. No problem with that. Please, teachers, help us. Help us, especially with that information the teacher itself mentioned. There must be a different teacher every book. Of course, depending on your situation. If there is only one teacher in the school, it will be impossible. But if there are two teachers in the same schedule, please try to change, try to do all possible. Don't work more than 1 week, more than one book with one group. It's the rotation, the change of teachers every 5 weeks. I already told your coordinators. Please. Carlos, you already assigned the